99X, The Morning X. It's Barnes and Leslie. Fram, it's not us that makes news. It's our guests that make news. We have a former Morning X guest that has made international news from right here in Atlanta.
Okay.
This is an impressive story. A wallet lost in 1958 turned up in the unlikeliest of places more than 6 decades later. It was found behind the bathroom wall of the historic Atlanta movie theater that was once a closet, by the way, this room, I guess. But let's get more about the Plaza Theater from our buddy Chris Escobar. Hey, Chris.
Hey, good to chat with y'all again.
Hey.
Look at now. Chris also owns the Terra, which has been redone and looks beautiful.
Absolutely.
What the hell is this story? And could you get any more value from it?
Yeah, it's been, this is the 4th time in the Plaza's over 80-year history that it's made national or international news for different reasons. This is probably the most fun, though.
Four times you've been in the news?
Yeah.
Well, just quickly, what were the other 3?
So this is 4. Number 3 was all around COVID. In 2020, the Plaza was probably the most covered theater in America.
Wow.
In 2014, because of the release of The Interview. So this is before I owned it, but I was involved. The Plaza was the first in the world to announce it was going to be playing it after all on Christmas Day. It was the movie that got Sony hacked.
Oh, right.
The North Korea thing. But then the first time was in 1981, 1982, because the Plaza was the center of a Supreme Court case from the time when it was an X-rated theater.
Oh.
And so there was a case that went up related to that and went up through the Georgia Supreme Court and then the U.S. Supreme Court and was in front of Thurgood Marshall and Justice Rehnquist and all that. Yeah. So notorious.
So about this discovery of this wallet 6 decades ago, were you renovating? How did you find this?
Yeah, so we've been doing a restoration revitalization. We first started doing the balcony, turned it into 2 small auditoriums. Our next phase is redoing the bathrooms, concessions bar, that kind of stuff. And so we're just taking tile off. It's not original tile; it's 1980s era tile, and we're trying to make the bathrooms look really nice and cool. And so when the crew was removing tile, a chunk of like concrete came off this back wall, and they saw there was a space back there, and they were like, what the heck? And so they like put a camera phone to look in deeper, and it was like a cavity. It was like at least 4 feet deeper in kind of 2 directions, and then they realized that there was a lot more space back then than there should have been. So as we started to continue, we couldn't get to that space until we were in a later part of the work because we're doing it in pieces. And so it wasn't until we can get back there that we started to realize, okay, so this portion of the bathroom used to be a manager's office that they then took it over to make the bathroom larger. Oh. And in doing that, they ended up kind of blocking off and covering up what was a little closet under the stairs.
Wow.
Off that manager's office. And so what we've come to realize, there was actually lots of other things we found in there. We found old liquor bottles from it was King Cotton peach wine, and old Milwaukee cans and a marquee letter. Found this old box of matches.
Wow.
So we realized is that was a little closet. They would have, people lose stuff all the time. And so usually when it's something valuable like a wallet, you lock that up for lost and found. And so almost certainly what would have happened is this wallet would have been lost in 1958, would have been locked up in the manager's office, and then probably fell back in the closet somehow. Oh. And as the theater changed hands, because this theater has never been closed. It's always been in operation since 1939, with the exception of the brief period during COVID, but we were still in business. And so, but it's changed hands a number of times.
Well, how do you even start to find the guy?
Yeah, so actually the wallet belonged to a lady, but it's funny because that wasn't obvious because all the stuff in the wallet said Roy Culbreth. And it was really Mrs. Roy Culbreth because it was, with the exception of, we ended up realizing that on the driver's license, it said Floy, which an F and an L together look like an R also. Yeah. But yeah, there's this couple, Roy and Floy Culbreth. And so it was her wallet, but everything in her wallet, she was referred to by her husband's as it was the time, right? And so I brought everything home, and my wife, who's the real, I call her the digital sleuth. Like she's such an incredible one. I thought it would take days or even long. It took her 2 hours or less.
To find.
Were they alive?
Well, no. Well, so no, they passed in the early 2000s, but they lived well into their 80s. But we were able to find Roy and then Floyd's obituaries. And with the obituary, she was able to get names of kids and grandkids, and then use that information and came across the charity website because they had started the Colbreth Cup, which is a charity golf tournament to continue the fundraising work that they used to do around palsy and around people with disabilities. And so through that website, we were able to kind of confirm and go, okay, these are all the same people. This is connected. And then eventually we went to Facebook. Yeah.
We're talking to Chris Escobar from the Plaza Theater, the Terra Theater, about this missing wallet during renovation that they found from like 6 decades ago. This is incredible. So did you finally find any family members to return the wallet to?
We did. So we first got in touch with Floyd Colbreth's grandson, Wes, and then he put us in touch with Thea, so Floyd's daughter. And funny enough, in the wallet, her mom had a few items of hers because she was 6 years old when her mom's wallet got lost.
Oh, wow.
And her mom was holding for her a couple insurance cards and a doctor's appointment reminder. And so now we were able to reconnect with her at 71 years old.
Damn.
And be able to get her back this wallet. Yeah.
That's incredible.
What other credit cards were in there?
So there were 2 credit cards, and keep in mind, these were early, before Magstrip credit cards, right? They were just an account number with a name. So there was a Davidson's and a Riches.
Wow.
But there was, aside from lots of really, really gorgeous family photos, there was also all fascinating kinds of stuff from tickets to for a raffle to win a 1959 Chevrolet. There were all kinds of business cards. There were receipts for gas. It was like paying $10 for.
This was back when we were first on the first time in 1958. Was there a freeloader card in there?
There was.
Because those are coming back.
It was member number 7.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was just.
Yeah, I saw that receipt for 10 gallons of gas for $3.26.
That is so cool. Well, how are things going at your theaters? At Terra, which you got all spruced up?
Yeah, so the Terra is doing well. It still has a ways to go. I would say we're definitely doing a lot better than it was the same time last year, but it still has a ways to go to get back to where it was pre-COVID. We've been very lucky where we've had a number of special events that have really been splashes. We did the Andre 3000 listening party. We've had a number of special premieres and things like that. A number of those kind of things in the works. We're still working on our liquor license and an expanded food permit, but once we get that in place, then we'll be really rocking and rolling. And then the Plaza is doing gangbusters. The Plaza is doing double the business it was doing pre-COVID.
So let's get the Terra back.
Yeah, we should do something there. We should do some sort of Morning X something. If you think of any,
I believe it. Yes,
anything
I agree.
coming up,
Absolutely.
let's try to figure it out. People thought I was joking. I took my daughter to the Terra for a matinee, and we went in and got a drink or whatever. The same person did every single transaction for us. We bought the ticket. They went behind the desk and got a drink, and then they said, "Do you want us to start the movie now?" And then literally we walked in and they went up and turned it on.
Yeah, sometimes you get those sleepy afternoons.
Yes, that was funny. I was like, oh, well, that's service, baby. All right, go check out the Terra. It is beautiful now. Chris Escobar, thank you very much for joining us. That's a wild story.
Thank y'all so much.
You got it. It's the Morning X. This is 99X.